You're listening to The Bird Bath. This episode of The Bird Bath is brought to you by Scout. Scout replaces paper anesthesia and dental forms with digital workflows built specifically for veterinary surgical teams. Founded by practicing veterinarian Dr. Gonzalo Erdezan, Scout was built by vets for vets to make surgical documentation faster, more accurate, and easier to manage. Practices using Scout save more than 100 hours per surgery technician every single year, giving their teams more time to focus on patient care instead of paperwork. Learn more and book a demo at scoutapp.vet. That's scoutapp.vet. And make sure to tell them the Bird Bath sent you. Welcome back to the Bird Bath. Each week for the past 3 years, we scrape the surface of the news you need to know. So let's get into it. Before we dig into this year, it is a very special episode for us this week. This is our 3-year anniversary. For 3 years straight, every single Tuesday, we have brought an episode out to you. We've had episodes come out on the day after Christmas. We've had episodes come out right as the New Year's kicked off. We had episodes launch on holidays, birthdays, monsoons. Who knows what else has been going on. And every single week, the team and I step up to make sure we can bring you the top stories. And first off, before we get into it, I just really want to take a second and thank the people who have been part of this journey for the past 3 years. We've done, this is episode 159 because we did some special episodes along the way, but for nearly 160 episodes, the team at Full Slice have been absolutely invaluable and incredible on bringing together the words that I'm speaking to you right now and putting them into an incredible podcast format. They bring you the little bird flutter wings in the background that you all tell me you love. They put out the social media posts. They bring these to life and make it more than just a guy talking into a microphone. So the team at Full Slice is absolutely incredible. I also want to thank the people who helped us kickstart this. Our first sponsor and our first partner for the show was Intelligence, and they brought together the show out to all of the listeners and readers of the Fountain Report. And, we would not have launched this show without the support of Chris Kelly and the team over at Intelligence. So thank you to Chris and the team over there. They're doing some great work on their new podcast, their video show that they're bringing to everyone as well through the Fountain Report. I also really want to thank everyone that listens and that shares the show. It does mean a lot. It's kind of crazy to think that 3 years ago, a little over 3 years ago, I was sitting here having wrapped up the podcast that Dr. Ivan Zach and I did about consolidation for a long time together, and just trying to think of what else I thought the industry was missing, and brought together this idea of having the water cooler for people that want to know what's going on in vet med. And it gave me a chance to learn more about things than I've ever known. So it's really been a cool opportunity to see a community form around this and to hear from the people that listen to the show and have feedback on the show. I am always happy to meet anyone that's listened or loves it or hates it or anything in between. And so to everyone that has been, sponsors throughout the years and listened and shared and produced and done anything around the show, thank you to everyone. This has been so fun. My wife thinks maybe I should take 1 week off. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe at our 5-year anniversary, I'll take a week off. But this has been spectacular. But now let's get into it. Top story this week is Zoetis acquiring VitalRads. Zoetis has announced that they've made a formal agreement to acquire VitalRads, which many of you probably know. It's a veterinary teleradiology platform from Thrive Pet Care. That's the little asterisk that I don't know if everyone knows about, but it is one that's important. So Thrive Pet Care, which you all know, owns a ton of practices as well as VetSpire Software, was the parent company of VitalRads for a long time. And in August of last year, they announced partnership with Zoetis for VitalRads to start getting into the hands of more of the users. And this has culminated in a little bit less than a year later, launching a formal acquisition. Now, because Zoetis is a large publicly traded company, it's something that won't be closing until later this year, but they did put out that announcement. And the executive vice president and chief commercial officer at Zoetis, Jamie Brannon, said, through 24/7 access to world-class veterinary radiologists, cardiologists, neurologists, and dentists, VitalRads helps veterinarians identify conditions faster, inform clinical decision-making, and guide treatment plans. So this is something that we've been seeing kind of the idea around how Zoetis is going to increase their revenue portfolio. Some of the new pharmaceuticals and drugs that they're bringing to the market are coming up against generics, competitors, as well as their pipeline of new drugs is coming out in 18 to 24 months. And so the acquisition of a new platform like VitalRads makes a ton of sense. Now, the teleradiology space is very complex and busy. You've got superstar companies like Radimel, who have pioneered some of the forefront in AI radiology services with a huge team of radiologists as well doing the teleconsultations. You've got companies like SignalPet. You've obviously got IDEX and Antec and a lot of the other players in the space that are doing these kind of things. But to see this now fold into the diagnostic portfolio of Zoetis makes a ton of sense, and it's another big acquisition for the team at Zoetis. So looking forward to seeing where this goes and hope to see a lot of continued growth for the Zoetis global diagnostic portfolio. Another big role that's launched or filled perhaps is the new Chief Veterinary Officer for Fear Free. We talked about when this job opened up and that they had put out the call, and the call has been answered by Dr. Rebecca Zoetis. Dr. Zoetis was previously the Executive Vice President for organizational growth at My Pets Wellness, which we talked a lot about. We're not going to belabor that point. She also sits on the board of directors for Paisley Paws, which is a nonprofit that works to expand access to veterinary care. She went to the University of Georgia College of Veterinary Medicine, and she's worked a lot across different parts of the industry, right? You don't become an executive vice president at a startup with big backing and things like that without a really robust background. But in some interviews, Dr. Zoetis said that she really wants to focus on bringing what Fear Free does across the board. Fear Free has been seeing a ton of growth. They're not only in the business of making sure that practitioners have that Fear Free certification, but they've been growing their practice certifications. They've been certifying practices globally now and really finding a way to bring this new style and a style that I patron and I certify myself in and go through and make sure that I care about, but a way to be able to bring a lower stress, lower anxiety, lower fear level practice to veterinary care. So fear-free practices are doing spectacularly and really growing well. And Dr. Zoetis is now going to be sort of continuing that organizational charge from the veterinary side of things to keep things moving. So congratulations to the whole team. I hope that that goes well and look forward to seeing what new breakthroughs come from the Fear-Free team soon. Now over to the private equity backed side of the world, but with some cool businesses as well. VetnCare. VetnCare announced that they have just completed a new acquisition of holistic veterinary care in California. It's the sixth acquisition that they've made, and it's the first acquisition that they've made since bringing in their new CEO, Matt Kirschner. In the press release, Matt said, since our founding, VetnCare has been committed to elevating the standard of veterinary care in our communities. A key part of this is expanding the types of care offered within our network. Holistic Veterinary Care and Dr. Richter have led the way in embracing Eastern and alternative medicines to benefit pets across their lifetime. We are thrilled to partner with this team and look forward to providing best-in-class pet care together. Now, the reason I thought this story was interesting, I'm not always hitting on a group acquiring a practice, but this was interesting, one, because the original founder of VetnCare is now the chief veterinary medical officer, Andrew Moffat, who's a an absolute superstar, a very wonderful, energetic leader for the business. But now since bringing in Matt, who I've had the chance to meet as well, who's a spectacular guy and a really great leader, we're starting to see more of these acquisitions happen, from a de novo strategy to doing more acquisitions with private equity backing and looking to grow the footprint in a way beyond just opening a new GP clinic. Like we talked about in the previous story here, Fear Free, but also now holistic veterinary care. Utilizing holistic medicine is something that I think we're going to see more and more growth in the space. We're seeing that continue to be important for humans as they look at their care. And whenever we see it carry in humans, it makes sense that we start to see that grow in the animal care side of things and in the pet care world. We've seen the growth of alternative diets. We've seen the increase of supplements and a lot of those things that go outside of what's traditional Eastern medicine, and alternative medicine is now continuing to grow in the space. So interesting acquisition, and one that I think I'll be interested to see what else happens. Who else is buying these holistic practices or adding in that as a alternative layer to the traditional diagnostic style businesses or Eastern medicine businesses that have been so popular for many years. So keep your eye out on what's going on in the supplement space as well as in the holistic space. Now, finally, New Mexico is the latest state to offer up some loan repayment to attract new DVMs. New Mexico is offering up to $80,000 in loan repayment, and they say the purpose of the New Mexico Veterinary Medicine Loan Repayment Program is to increase the number of veterinarians in rural parts of the state by providing repayment for outstanding student loans. Students are required to commit to a 4-year full-time service agreement in certain rural shortage areas in New Mexico. And they say it's a competitive application. It's open from June 1st all the way to August 1st, and they're paying up to $80,000 in loans. Now, this is interesting, but my question is it enough? If someone's already interested in being a rural veterinarian and doing this, yes, might make the right sense. But if they're looking to attract DVMs that are looking at a more traditional, more urban or suburban practice, I don't think $80,000 is going to be the catalyst that does it. Over a 4-year period, we're talking about $20,000 a year, and rural doctors are getting paid less than what they do in more larger urban areas. So I think the repayment is a nice addition to what they're looking at, but I don't know that it's enough to really attract someone to a 4-year commitment in the New Mexico countryside. It's a tough one, right? We talked about last year, Banfield is offering 4th-year repayment. And so the 4th year of a student's education is fully covered by Banfield if they agree to go and work at a Banfield upon graduation. Along with that, they can see $25,000 of early acceptance stipend. They get additional coaching. They can get relocation support. They can get referral bonuses, and they can even still get up to $450 of additional monthly payment towards their student loans. So over a 4-year period, they're looking at, $20,000 there. They're looking at another $20,000 in stipends. They're looking at their last year of school covered, and they're looking at a much broader scope of places to be able to work. So I commend the states for doing this, but I wonder if we're really putting in the levers that are going to cause the actions to happen that we're looking for. Is $80,000 going to drive a veterinarian to come to a rural area? It might choose that rural Colorado veterinarian to start going to New Mexico to work rurally. But I don't know that we're going to be driving the same attention that they're hoping to see. But if you are interested in it, be sure to go and fill out the application. I'd love to hear anyone that goes through that process and takes part in it, because there are these big gaps and there are these big spaces, and there's the opportunity to learn a ton on the job in these rural practices. So if you fill it out, let me know, and I would love to hear how it goes for you. Now, for more on these and other stories, join us by subscribing to our Substack. There's a link in the bio. And don't miss out on any episodes for the past 3 years by subscribing and rating the show. If you've enjoyed it for 3 years, give us a ranking, give us a little word here saying how much you enjoy the show. That really helps other people learn more about it. It boosts it up in the ratings so that we can make sure that everyone in Vet Med starts their Tuesday mornings with the bird bath. And for the bird bath, I'm Ryan Leach. See you next week.